Mi amigos, CrazyCaribbeanPot.com. Amigas, all in there too. CrazyCaribbeanPot.com. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're doing something just about every Trinbagonian and their mommy has been asking me for. Guys, Chow Chow. Chow Chow is one of those sort of relish, kind of pickle relish that we have with ham and pastels Christmas morning down on the islands. It's a sort of a Trinbagonian thing, so it may be the other islands in the Caribbean may not be too familiar with this, but boy oh boy, is it ever good with that ham. Chrissy at CaribbeanPot.com, we're making Chow Chow. Let's quickly look at the ingredients we'll be using today. Up front, 3 tablespoons of prepared mustard. I've got 2 tablespoons of cornstarch there. 5 tablespoons of granulated sugar. 2 tablespoons of freshly grated ginger. And I've got anywhere from about 12 to 15 cloves. It's going to give it a nice aromatic flavor to that. And back here, the vegetables we'll be using. Typically, Bodie or yard bean or long beans are used. I'm just using green beans. We need about a cup of this chopped up, 1 cup of chopped up green bell pepper, 1 cup of chopped up, well, cubed up red bell pepper. They're all sweet peppers. These here are called pimento peppers or seasoning peppers, and I have 3 and 3/6 of them there. We're just going to chop those up as well. If you can't get those, maybe a cubanelle or any sort of flavoring pepper would be ideal in this. No Caribbean sunshine this time. 2 carrots, that's going to give me 1 cup of diced carrots. Something not typical to this recipe and not traditional. And this is zucchini. I had some zucchini in the fridge and I thought I would include it in there. I'm going to get 1 cup of diced zucchini. Cauliflower, a big player in this recipe, 1 cup of that. 1 cup of onion. You can use any sort of onion you like. I like using this white sweet onion. Lovely flavor. We're going to need some vinegar, about 3.5 cups of vinegar. That's what I have back here. Some salt. And the salt, we're probably going to need about a tablespoon of that just to form a brine, to sort of let this sit in the brine overnight. And some water, of course, if we're going to be doing a brine. If I forgot anything as we go along, I will include it. First thing we need to do is to dice everything up, and this is what I have here. I have the zucchini, the onion, those peppers, the cauliflower, and in the background here I have the green beans, red pepper, green pepper, carrots, everything diced up pretty much uniform in size, because we want to have the same sort of consistency, texture, and allow it to cook and get to that nice chow chow way evenly. So what we're going to do now is create that brine, and you want to let this soak in that brine overnight. Guys, while I was going through the ingredient list, and I knew I forgot something, you know, but bang, look what we forget. One of the key ingredients, turmeric. 2 tablespoons of turmeric, whatever you call that. In Trinidad and Tobago, we call it saffron. You may better know it as saffron, but it's very important to this recipe. It gives that unique flavor as well as the color. So 2 tablespoons of that and you're good to go. Let's go ahead now and brine all of this. So I've got a nice plastic bowl here, and all I'm going to do is dump all of these ingredients in there. Hope I don't make a mess as I usually do, but it's all going in there. I do apologize for that scraping noise, but it's the only way I can get everything in there. Just gonna give that a quick stir just to mix everything up. So all we're gonna do now is put some salt. Remember I said we're gonna need some salt for the brining process. So there's about a tablespoon and a half of salt, and then cool water. You just want to make sure, just bear with me for a second. You want to make sure it's covered now in water. Give it a good stir to make sure that salt melts down. Getting a nice lovely scent from the seasoning peppers. Leave that overnight, put some plastic wrap over that, leave that overnight, and then we're going to drain it and assemble everything. in my nice new deep saucepan. Yeah, I knew your boy went shopping. I've got 3.5 cups of vinegar on a medium heat, and we're just gonna add in that sugar. Give it a quick whisk. In goes turmeric, that yellow mustard, that prepared mustard. Let's get a spoon to just make sure I scrape everything down in there. I'm gonna whisk in that cornstarch. In goes the cloves as well as that freshly grated ginger. I just want to keep stirring this and bring it up to a gentle simmer and let it simmer for a few minutes. It came up to a boil, and because of the cornstarch in there, it's going to start to thicken up. And what you want to do is let that go for about 10 minutes on that sort of a simmer. A gentle little bubbles on top. That is cool. I'm just going to stir it, whisk it a few times more. And after 10 minutes, what you want to do, you're going to have that strong scent of vinegar and all those, that clove and the turmeric and everything else is going to have a nice scent in the kitchen going. All I'm going to do now is strain this, because remember, we've got those cloves and any sort of lumps that may be left back. Strain it and put back the liquid in this pot or in a new pot, in a clean pot if you want. I'm just going to strain it and put everything back in here. In the meanwhile, over here, I have the vegetables which we chopped up and we had soaking in that brine. I have it in a drainer here because I want to drain out as much of that liquid as I can before we assemble everything and put a nice chow chow together. So I've got my strainer set up over my other pot here, and then all you want to do is pretty much strain this in there. And you'll notice some remnants there. That's exactly why we're straining this, because we have all that that clove and everything else in there. All we're going to do now is to add all the vegetables in here now. Everything that we diced up. Just gonna give that a quick stir, and you want to bring that back up to a boil. You want this to come up to a boil and simmer until the vegetables gets a bit tender and everything starts thickening up. It's come up to a boil now, so I'm just gonna stir it. I reduce my heat back because I want it to gently simmer for a bit. And all we're looking for is for this to thicken up, because remember that brine that we soaked it in overnight is going to soften everything up, so it's going to be fully cooked already. Well, not fully cooked, but it's going to be almost perfect as it is. Yeah guys, I got caught up doing something else, but this is it here. It's all done nice and thick. It is a little bit runny at this point, but as it cools down it will thicken up a little bit more. So taste it for salt. If you want some salt in there, you can certainly do that. If you notice, I didn't put any salt because when we sort of brined it, we had salt in there, so it should be enough. You want to get a nice vinegar sort of pickle, sort of relish taste. Nice and lovely with that, all that stuff we put in there. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com, guys. This is going to be wicked. Christmas morning, your pastel, your ham, do your thing. Always a pleasure to have you here in the kitchen with me. Remember, you want it to be a little bit tart, a little bit, as we say in the Caribbean, a little bit sour, but at the same time with that sweet undertone, as well as the consistency should be thick. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure to have you in the kitchen here with me. Give this one a try, man. By the way, guys, one thing I forgot to mention to you guys. At this point, what you want to do while it's still hot, if you're going to be using, preparing these to give away or to store, I mean, this is a big pot I have here. Sterilize some glass bottles, put it in there, seal it up, you're good to go. Mr. Chow Chow will last for weeks. Put it in the fridge. All kind of lovely things going to happen with this Chow Chow this Christmas season, trust me. But remember, you can also store this in glass jars.